Remote work. I call it the future. Others call it a menace to society and the fifth horseman of the apocalypse. But with the Trump presidency happening, and it is happening by the way, people, is this the end of remote work as we know it, or could it actually thrive in unexpected ways? Let's break this down with facts and a healthy dose of speculation from moi, Liam Martin from Time Doctor and runningremote.com. Also, before we get started, I wanted to present a view on this which is as politically even as humanly possible. Ideally, I'd like for you to not know whether I was a Trump guy or a Harris guy or something else. And just for context, I'm Canadian, so I didn't even have a vote anyways, but I do own a few companies in the US, so I paid very special attention to this particular election. Additionally, as a Canadian, seeing this from a third-party perspective, this stuff is just fun to watch. The amount of arguing both sides have over this stuff makes it a can't not watch situation. It's like Game of Thrones times 10, in my opinion. And adding in the very real consequences for remote work made it only more interesting for me. So let's start with the drama. Imagine Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy teaming up not to launch Dogecoin to the moon, but to launch all government employees back into their cubicles. Here's the play. They're calling for a nationwide return to office mandate for government workers. And their goal is not just productivity. Nope, it's to actually push people to quit. Fewer government employees mean fewer bureaucratic roadblocks for their big, bold visions. But for remote work advocates, this feels like a plot twist in a dystopian Netflix series. And what about the private sector? Leaders like Elon could take this as their cue to enforce their own back to office policies. And will this trickle down to remote jobs outside of government? The answer, my friends, might be pretty wild. Less than 2 months ago, Amazon ordered everyone back into the office, and we thought that was going to be the end of remote work, right? Well, the result? Castle Systems' Back to Work Index, which is the biggest data set on how many people are actually returning to the office, it went down, not up. Essentially, there was no impact on the return to office mandate. So I'm sure a lot of Amazon employees are coffee badging or running their own version of hushed hybrid. By the way, we have some videos on that if you don't know what those terms mean. And the government is about the same size as Amazon, with 2.87 million workers, accounting for 1.9% of the working population. So my belief is that even if everyone goes back, it won't really impact the numbers up or down, and will probably result in more people quitting than anything else. Now let's talk about the Trump card. Literally. Trump's tax cut policies might sound like a win for businesses and individuals alike, but let's zoom out. Lower corporate taxes could incentivize big companies to reinvest domestically, potentially leading to a return to office culture for tax advantages. But hold on, remote-friendly companies in tech and startups might actually thrive under reduced tax burdens, enabling them to hire globally while keeping their headquarters expenses low. So is this a win for remote work or a death sentence? Honestly, it depends on where you sit, the home office or that ergonomic nightmare they call a cubicle. My take is that we will actually be at a net gain for remote work. And I'm personally really looking forward to the Trump tax cut, as it means more money in my company's hands, which we'll use to hire more remote workers. And here's a wild card for my digital nomad friends. Trump's rumored policy is to allow US citizens abroad to skip US taxes without giving up citizenship. For digital nomads, this is like Christmas morning and Easter and Thanksgiving all rolled into one. Remote workers living in Bali, Barcelona, or Bahrain, again, could finally enjoy their avocado toast without actually Uncle Sam taking a big fat bite. However, this is my take. This could create an exodus of highly skilled remote workers leaving the US entirely. And would this in turn encourage US-based employees to look abroad for cheaper talent? This could be a double-edged sword for remote work. I'd wager that a lot of employees might even encourage their top talent to leave the US because they could get tax residency in a country that charges them 1% tax, as an example, and continue to enjoy their US level salaries, which is really awesome. And if you're a digital nomad right now or thinking about doing it, I highly suggest you pay attention to the Trump tax cuts for expats. Next up, Trump's America First economic policies are a tough pill to swallow for global remote work advocates. While protecting domestic jobs sounds noble, it actually could also come with restrictions on outsourcing visas or hiring international contractors. Imagine a world where companies penalized you for employing remote talent outside of the United States. This could dramatically reduce reduce global collaboration. But on the flip side, it could also create more domestic remote opportunities for US workers. The question is, at what cost? My take on this is it's too early to tell whether this is actually enforceable. Contractors don't come with countries attached to them. So I don't hire a video editing agency as an example, that's probably editing this video right now, and know where they're located as an example. So even though he has ideas, I don't know how that would actually be enforceable. However, weirder things have happened, which is why I'm making this video. So let's break down the pros and cons of all of this. On the pros side, you have potential tax breaks for remote-friendly companies. You have expanded tax freedom for digital nomads abroad. You have increased domestic remote job opportunities under the America First policy. You have reduced costs for startups due to deregulation, and you have possible rises in innovation in remote tech to circumvent office mandates. And the cons are also a big open question. You've got mandatory return to office policies for government employees that could set a precedent. You've got economic nationalism, which might limit global hiring. You've got reduced flexibility in remote roles due to corporate tax advantages favoring headquarter expansion, potential talent drain as US workers move abroad under new expat-friendly tax laws, and you've got Daddy Elon, who could use this momentum to declare personal war on Zoom calls. I hope he doesn't, because he kind of already has before, but it hasn't really worked. So we'll see. Regardless, love him or hate him, a Trump presidency could reshape remote work in ways we can't ignore. From massive tax shifts to global talent wars, the impact could be profound and maybe even polarizing. But you know what? That's what makes remote work so darn interesting for me. What do you actually think? Will Trump bring remote work to its knees, or could it find a way to thrive in this chaos? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're at it, I'd love to find out if you think I'm a Trump guy or a Harris guy. I hope I tried to present this in a way that was equal to both sides, but let me know down in the comments below. Also, while you're down there, you might as well subscribe to this channel. We talk about this kind of stuff every single week, and I'll keep you appraised of what's happening inside of remote work.